Hey everybody, and welcome to or back to my channel, My Kinda Stuff, and today I want to talk about July new releases. So I started off thinking that there weren't that many books coming out in July that I was that excited about, but upon doing some further digging, I actually found quite a few that I'm excited to check out. So let's just go over these in release date order. The first one releasing on July 8th, which is The Undercutting of Rosie and Adam, which is book 3 of the Heart and Mercy series by Megan Bannen. These are a kind of like cozy fantasy romance books. The synopsis for this one says the immortal demigod Rosie Fox has been patrolling Tanria for decades, but lately the job has been losing its luster. After 157 years of being alive, everything is beginning to lose its luster. When Rosie dies, again by electrocution, again, after poking around inside a portal choked with shadowy thorns only she can see, she feels stuck in a rut that is her unending life. Thanks to Rosie's meddling, the portal's inventor, Dr. Adam Leigh, must come in person to repair the damage. When all the portals begin to break down, he declares an emergency evacuation of Tanria. In the mad rush to get out, Rosie and Adam end up trapped inside the mist together. An uptight Adam Leigh in his bespoke menswear seems to know a lot more about what's happening than he's letting on. Rosie is determined to crack the shell of his cool exterior, but the more she learns about Adam, the more she realizes they both have personal histories as tangled and thorny as the plant that has them trapped inside the mist. Maybe two people who have found themselves stuck in this life can find a way to unstick each other, just when their time on Earth seems to be running out. I am still a book behind in this series, so I've only read book 1, which was The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, and I thought it was really stinking cute. So I'm going to have to get to The Undermining of Twyla and Frank soon so that I can read Rosie and Adam's story when it releases, or at least close to. So I have some catching up to do here, but I am really excited to continue this series because it was really just adorable and I had a lot of fun with it. Next up, releasing on July 15th is One Yellow Eye by Leigh Radford. This one, I believe, is like zombies, which I haven't read a ton of, but I absolutely love zombie movies. I think this is also like a sci-fi dystopian kind of vibe to it as well. The synopsis here says, having always preferred the company of microbes, British scientist Kesta Shelley has spent her life peering through a microscope rather than cultivating personal relationships. That changed when Kesta met Tim, her cheerleader, her best friend, her absolute everything. So when he was one of the last people in London to be infected with a perplexing virus that left the city ravaged, Kesta went into triage mode. Although the government rounded up and disposed of all the infected, Kesta is able to keep her husband unalive and hidden within resources from the hospital where she works. She spends her days reviewing biopsy slides and her evenings caring for him, but he's clearly declining. The sedatives aren't working like they used to, and his violent outbursts are becoming more frequent. As Kesta races against the clock, her colleagues start noticing changes in her behavior and appearance. Her care for Tim has spiraled into absolute obsession. Whispers circulate that the top secret lab is working on a cure, and Kesta clings to the possibility of being recruited. But can she save her husband before he's discovered? This sounds like so much fun. Oh my goodness, like trapping a zombie and like keeping him and trying to cure him because he's your husband. This is going to be super emotional, I feel like, and I can't wait to check it out. The next book I want to talk about coming out on July 22nd is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I have read a good portion of Holly Jackson's books, and I have absolutely loved every single one of them. So I'm really excited to check this one out as well. It is a YA mystery thriller. I think there's like some crime aspects to it, as usual with her books. The synopsis for this one says, in 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. Jet is the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in Woodstock, Vermont. 27 years old, and she's waiting for her life to begin. I'll do it later, she always says. She has time. Until Halloween night, when Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic head injury. The doctor is certain that within a week, the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm. Jet has never thought of herself as having enemies, but now looks at everyone in a new light. Her family, her former best friend turned sister-in-law, her ex-boyfriend. She has at most 7 days, and as her condition deteriorates, she only has her childhood friend Billy for help. Nevertheless, she's absolutely determined to find something. Jet is going to solve her own murder. So I find it interesting that this one is listed as YA, but the character is 27 years old. So maybe not YA? I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to check it out. I love Holly Jackson's writing. Her stories are always just easily digestible, but also super bingeable. When I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder a couple years ago, like I sat down and read that entire book in one sitting, like did not move from the chair. I was obsessed. So I'm really excited to check this one out as well. Another book coming out on July 22nd that I want to check out, but I'm kind of hesitant about, is called Another, and that is by Paul Tremblay. I have not had the best of luck with Paul Tremblay's writing. I think he's just one of those authors that like it's a either you love him or you hate him kind of a thing. And honestly, I've really not enjoyed any of the books I've read by him, but I'm determined to find one that I like. So I do want to check this one out as well. I think it's interesting because it's a middle grade. I don't know if he's written a middle grade before. If he has, I haven't read it. But this is like a paranormal coming of age story. So it's got a chance. I've read a few other middle grade like horror books and they've worked for me in the past. So hopefully this one can as well. The synopsis for this one says, when Casey Wilson's parents tell him that his friend is coming for a sleepover, he has no idea who that might be. Ever since the Zoom incident, everyone treats him like a pariah, and his tics are worse than ever. When Morel appears, he's not like any friend Casey has ever met. His skin is like clay, and he doesn't speak. But Casey's parents are charmed by the strange kid, and it's nice to have someone to talk to besides his sister, Allie, who is away at college. As his normally loving parents grow distant from Casey, they gush and fawn over Morel. Casey knows something is wrong, but with no end in sight to the sleepover, he's exhausted. And in the dark, out of the corner of his eye, Morel doesn't look like a kid at all. It just sounds like so much fun. Like obviously it's middle grade, right? So it's got to have that like sort of goofy-ish element to it. But yeah, I'm really excited to check it out and see what I think. Then coming up on July 29th is book 2 in the Grandest Games series, which is called Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is another series where like I am behind in. I finished the Inheritance games, but I didn't read the Grandest game yet. So I am a book behind. I know the Grandest game kind of like is the start to a new series, but it definitely ties into the Inheritance games. So I don't know if you really need to like read both, but I have read all of the Inheritance games, so I just need to get caught up on the one book. It doesn't say a ton about this one in the synopsis. It just says 7 players arrived on Hawthorne Island, each with their own secrets and motivations to win the grandest game. Millions are at stake, but so are hearts and lives. The players must now race to win the game, solve myriad mysteries, and survive the twists and turns of glorious rivals. I love a games aspect in books, and I think that's why this series works so well for me. Um, all the like puzzles they're solving, and there's a little bit of like teenage drama and stuff in them as well. Because again, this is another YA series, kind of like a mystery thriller. Um, but they're so much fun, and they're always fairly high stakes too for being set in like a more contemporary setting instead of a fantasy world. So I think they're fun and I'm excited to continue. Another book coming out on July 29th that I want to check out is You Belong Here by Megan Miranda. Um, I see on Goodreads it's got a fairly low rating, but I feel like a good portion of her books do. But I really enjoyed the ones I've read. I haven't read everything, but I have read a few of her books and I eat them up. They're like such popcorn thrillers. Again, another one of those things where they're like so easily bingeable and digestible that I normally get through them in like a day. So I'm excited to check it out for myself. The synopsis for this one says Beckett Bowery never thought she'd return to Wyatt Valley, a picturesque college town in the Virginia mountains steeped in tradition. Her roots there were strong. Beckett's parents taught at the college, and she never imagined studying anywhere else. Until the tragedy her senior year ended with 2 local men dead and her roommate on the run, never to be seen again. For the last 2 decades, Beckett has done her best to keep her distance. Then her daughter, Delilah, secretly applies to Wyatt College and earns a full scholarship. And Beckett can only hope that her lingering fears are unfounded. But deep down, she knows that Wyatt Valley has a long memory, and the past isn't the only dangerous thing in town. She does a lot of like suburban thrillers. So it sounds like this is kind of going to be the same lane for her, but I'm really excited to check it out for myself. Another book coming out on July 29th that I want to check out is We Won't All Survive by Kate Alice Marshall. I've read a couple other books by her and enjoyed them, so I'm excited to check this one out too. The synopsis says 2 years ago, Mercy Gray was hailed a hero for saving lives during a mall shooting. She still carries souvenirs from that incident: a fragment of a bullet lodged in her back, a mountain of medical debt, and guilt for ignoring her sister's warnings that the sweet boy next door was anything but. When billionaire turned TV host Damien Dare recruits Mercy to compete on his new survivalist reality show, she can't turn down a chance at the whopping cash prize that could send her sister to college. But when she and the other contestants arrive at the off-grid location, something isn't right. The set is empty, the gates close without warning, trapping them inside. And then one of them turns up dead. What appeared to at first be a tragic accident quickly transforms as more contestants start dying. With time and resources running low, surviving the show takes on a new meaning. This is another one that is listed as YA on Goodreads, but reading the synopsis doesn't make it really sound as such. So I guess we'll see. Maybe they're just upper end of YA in age. I don't know. Either way, it sounds like fun. I love the one by one trope where people just keep getting picked off because there's always just so much suspense in those and tension. So I think this one is going to be a whole lot of fun. And last but not least, another book coming out on July 29th is She Didn't See It Coming by Shari Lapena. I have not read anything by this author before, but I own a couple of her books, and here is yet another one that I am interested in. So I really need to get to it. I've heard some great things about this author. I think she's another one that does like more suburban type of mystery thrillers. So yeah, really excited to add yet another one to my collection. The synopsis for this one says, when beloved wife and mother disappears, a luxurious condo building transforms into a potential crime scene. The investigation begins. Can the detectives find her before it's too late? Braden and Sam have it all: thriving careers, a smart apartment in a luxury condominium, supportive friends, and a cherished daughter. The perfect life for the perfect couple. Then Sam receives a call at his office. Braden, working from home that day, has failed to collect their daughter from daycare. Arriving home with their little girl, he finds his wife's car in the underground garage. Upstairs in their apartment, her laptop is open on the table, her cell phone is nearby, her keys are in their usual place in the hall. Except Braden's nowhere to be seen, as if she just walked out. So again, the synopsis doesn't give us a ton to go on, but I am really excited to find out what happened. I love when like people just kind of disappear and vanish without a trace, sort of thing. I recently read Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, which like had a similar kind of setup to this, where the wife just vanishes. So I'm really excited to check this one out for myself as well. All right, guys, those are the books that I am most looking forward to that are releasing in the month of July. Let me know down in the comments below if I missed anything, if you think there's something coming out that I should keep an eye out for, or just any other recommendations coming out for the month. I like leaving the comments as like a collection of things where I can go to and like see if there's anything new that other people have found that catches my eye. So yeah, definitely make sure you leave comments down below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Give the video a thumbs up on your way out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.